Good morning, everybody. I hope you're having a wonderful eCoach day so far. My name is Morgan Thompson. I'm the LMS Academic Specialist in the Instructional Technology Office. Thank you so much for attending our LMS info session. We are so excited to provide you the chance to preview the LMS that was presented to the Board of Education for consideration. During this session, only Q&A will be available. So the chat has been turned off with our goal of compiling questions and answers to be communicated to all eCoach champs at once. If there's time at the end, I can peruse the Q&A and see the questions that I can speak to. If you're unfamiliar with that Q&A tool, it is right next to the chat under that activities button, your triangle, square, circle, and open the poll. Oh, no, sorry, not poll, Q&A, and you can ask your questions there. Also, just as a quick housekeeping item, closed captions are available. It is in between your video and your reactions button. So feel free to utilize that if needed. So let's get going, starting with the evaluation process. So during Dr. Bedell's listening and learning tours, stakeholder feedback indicated the desire to reevaluate our LMS and explore alternative options. So during that process, there were 3 LMS vendors, and they were all reviewed and scored as part of that evaluation process. But before the evaluation process could begin, it was important to determine our vision, and I will pause for a second and let you look at those key items in our vision. So really calling out some of those bolded items there. We're hoping for streamlined access to curated content, thinking about that one-stop shop concept, allowing users to unlock one door within our digital ecosystem, and really having a learning management system that will support teaching and learning, assessment, and data reporting in a digital environment. With that said, the best fit, the LMS evaluation team scored Canvas the highest in all 3 categories, with that being functional requirement, technical requirements, and vendor demos. And during the sandbox phase, tasks performed in Canvas were most often ranked the easiest to complete. Really important. Simple, easy to use, user-friendly, intuitive. As you saw with Dr. Pugh this morning, we are aligning everything, all the work that we do in the district with our AACPS strategic plan. And the priorities established by the strategic plan were a driving factor throughout the evaluation and selection process. So again, I will pause. I won't read all of this to you, but feel free to look at the connections between the priorities and our LMS. I don't know about you, but as I'm rereading through these, I'm definitely seeing the connection between our vision, our strategic plan, really seeing that big picture of why we're here. Okay, how will this happen? Upon approval, the LMS Transition Steering Committee will guide the system through all facets of the process. The work will be organized into 7 focus areas that will move in lockstep for a seamless transition. And each focus area will be guided by subject matter experts with the support of work groups that will include stakeholders like yourselves. So that critical feedback in each focus area. Okay, how will we support our staff? A detailed professional development plan will be created by the steering committee in collaboration with experienced staff from our potential partner. All right. Other stakeholders, how will we support our students and families? Similar to how are we supporting our teachers, a detailed communication and support plan will be created, again, by the steering committee in collaboration with experienced staff from our vendor partners. I will also let you read this one as well. So lots of areas for support. And if I move too fast and anybody needs me to pause at any point, feel free, let me know. Okay. The LMS implementation timeline. So upon board approval, this timeline will be followed to ensure a successful implementation by August 2025. So starting with project kickoff, pending that approval in November, and we kind of hit the ground running. Starting with that system configuration, administrator training, getting into content data migration. And then for me, the really exciting part, when we get into professional development, looking at a fourth marking period early launch, professional development, optional over the summer, and professional development continued, as well as district-wide implementation in August 2025. All right. And now that you've had an overview of where we are, we want to give you the opportunity to see firsthand how Canvas could provide an improved user experience through navigation, collaboration, and feedback. So starting with navigation, a really exciting feature that you will get to see in just a little bit, Canvas for Elementary. It is a setting that displays a simplified interface and experience designed for younger learners. Collaboration, easy content sharing. You are able to share from user to user, course to course. Canvas Studio, a platform that provides teachers and students with shareable media. So we know how great it can be to use audio and video to our benefit in our courses. Canvas Studio is a great option for that. Canvas Blueprint courses, that is district created courses that allow content to be revised and immediately shared with teachers. So that would be something more, it has the capability to do at the content or district office level and shared to teacher courses. And feedback. Canvas SpeedGrader provides teachers the ability to create a comment bank. It does include the option for text and media feedback options, as well as has a teacher-student feedback loop. And that's a great segue. Now to give us a sneak peek into the system, allow me to introduce you to our potential vendor partners from Canvas, Jamie and Kevin.
Thank
and
you.
Before, yep, oh, go ahead.
No, if you've got more to say, I
Yeah.
was just gonna take over, and but yeah, please go on, Morgan.
Yeah, just as a quick handoff, just because I know a few people joined after we got started, the chat is off. However, please utilize that Q&A feature, and we will be sending out answers to all of those questions in one compiled FAQ.
Thank you, Morgan. And I'll, do my best to help answer any questions real time in the demo as well, if that's appreciated. But it's really an honor to meet you all. My name's Kevin Colleen. I am the director over Maryland for Instructure, and I'll just be walking us through a couple quick slides today to kind of introduce you to Canvas, the company, and Instructure, the company, before Jamie dives deeper into the product demonstration. Jamie, would you like to introduce yourself next?
Sure. Hi, everyone. I'm Jamie Dominy, and I'm Kevin's partner here supporting the state of Maryland. So in my role, I really sit at that intersection of the tools that we offer, so Canvas, and that experience coming from the classroom and from education. So prior to coming to Instructure, I was a teacher and an administrator. So I've likely sat in a similar type of meeting as you all are in today, being those leaders and helping championing change and technology use through the district. So I'll primarily be driving the demonstration, but really glad to be here with you all, and we're excited to potentially partner.
Awesome. Thank you, Jamie. And I'm just going to take over and share a couple quick slides for an overall agenda today. What we'll cover is just an introduction to Instructure, the company, and then Jamie will dive into a demonstration of Canvas. There's a couple key areas. Morgan really just highlighted these well, but a couple key areas that we'll focus on our demonstration are going to be studio and video quizzes and the gradebook. We believe that some of the features in Studio and the Gradebook, these will be maybe improvements to your current LMS experience in some areas that we can get some fun, exciting, quick wins in terms of adoption and getting your team excited about Canvas. But then we also are going to cover how easy it is to copy materials from your courses in Canvas and share materials. We'll talk about merging courses, as you all call it. We call that section linking and cross-listening and Canvas lingo. And we'll cover our block editor. We'll give you a preview of our block editor today. Those are a couple areas where we understand these are features that are very important to you all today in Brightspace D2L, and we're excited to show you parity and how you could do those same things in Canvas. Before I just click into the slides too, I want to acknowledge that it is it's work transitioning an LMS, and we are so excited to get to know your team more if we become approved in the November board meeting, and we're excited to hopefully deliver you a world-class experience delivering an LMS. But I just want to say and give everyone here confidence that your central office has done a very wonderful job. Morgan, Darren, Tara, and team in leading the LMS RFP over the past 9 months. And we have a lot of confidence the way you all have built out this steering committee, work group methodology, and just seeing the lessons that you all have taken from your previous LMS implementation and how those are going to be applied to this implementation. Coupling all of that with the resources that we are going to be providing as part of this implementation, I just want to say that on behalf of Instructure, again, we recognize with clear eyes that sometimes this work, it's not always easy, but we're really confident that this is going to be a successful partnership, and we can't wait to get from point A to point B. So to give you more of an introduction into Instructure and who we are as a company, we were founded in 2009 in Salt Lake City. Since then, we've grown to become the most used LMS in K-12, and that's by any metric. We work with a lot of school districts in Maryland, including DC, public schools, including the Maryland Department of Ed, including Prince George's, Charles County, Howard County, Harford County, Montgomery County, and not on this list, Baltimore City actually just selected Canvas a few months ago, and we are a few months into their implementation as well. So widely used in Maryland in K-12, but then also widely used in Maryland in higher ed as well. I think the most exciting institution here is obviously Anne Arundel Community College. So your students that are doing, dual enrollment through that community college will have, really the benefit of using Canvas in both scenarios. And then if they go to any of these other institutions, I won't list them all by name, but there's plenty of higher ed institutions in Maryland that use Canvas as well. We believe that one of the reasons why Canvas has become one of the most widely used LMS in K-12 is really because of our company's focus on integrating with other ed tech companies, right? We like to play nice in this sandbox, the ed tech sandbox. And one of the integrations that I think we've identified, the potential to be most excited about is our integration with PowerSchool. That's an integration that would, as a teacher, save you a lot of time as your courses would roster from PowerSchool to Canvas each and every semester. But then also your grades, you have the capability to pass grades from Canvas to PowerSchool. What that means is that you can pass assignment level grades from Canvas into PowerSchool. And generally, I think I would advise you to work with your central office team, as you all set expectations about, what will really be like the grade book of record. But generally what we see here is you pass assignment grades from Canvas to PowerSchool, and then PowerSchool is where final grades live, kind of that grade book of record. And I want to reiterate, this is an integration that we've done with hundreds of other K-12 institutions, and we've done this at large K-12 institutions as well, like Houston, Texas, Hamilton, down in Chattanooga, Tennessee, the entire state of North Carolina. This is an integration that's tried and true, and we're excited to deliver to Anne Arundel. Beyond the PowerSchool integration, there's a couple of other integrations. And, part of the reason why I'm focusing on these integrations over slides is just because we can't really demo these, right? We don't have, Instructure doesn't have like a PowerSchool instance or an instance to a lot of these other partners. But, we have over 900 ed tech partners that we integrate with. The Anne Arundel team, you all provided a list of LTI or other ed tech partners that you use. And the good news is, we vetted this list and we have what's called an LTI integration with really all of these tools except Thunkable. So, look, overall, we're very excited about the opportunity to, kind of as Morgan described in your strategic plan, having just one door or one path of entry to your entire digital learning experience. We're really excited to provide that. We're excited to provide efficiencies with grade pass back with PowerSchool. And we're so excited to, as you make this transition, just be a top-notch partner in terms of change management and helping you all get the most out of Canvas if we're approved in November. So that all being said, let's get into the exciting part. I'm going to stop my screen share. Jamie, if you want to take over, Jamie's prepared a demonstration to, really walk you through Canvas from a couple different perspectives. And Jamie, I'll go on mute and let you take over.
Okay, that sounds great. Thanks, Kevin. So really, as Kevin said, we'll look at a couple of different perspectives at a high level of Canvas, starting with your end user, so your students. What would your students experience in Canvas? And then backing up to that teacher experience. What does it look like to create content, share content, grade, provide feedback? So with that, I'll go ahead and just jump right into the student experience. And the place that we're going to start for the student is the dashboard. So this is what they would see when they log into Canvas. In the center of the screen, you'll notice I have little tiles for all of my classes. So as Kevin mentioned, that rostering from PowerSchool, that's where all of the classes that your students are rostered in would show up here on their dashboard. And so you'll notice I have a variety of grade levels and subject areas. Specifically, I know within the slides that Morgan shared, the elementary experience was highlighted, and we'll take a look at that today. But for the majority of the demonstration, we will go kind of middle of the road as far as just looking at what a course could look like in Canvas. But before we dive in, a couple other elements I want to point out. On the right-hand side of the screen, you'll notice I have a quick links that I can go to as a student. So I have a to-do list. This would show any of the assignments or activities that I need to complete or turn in. I can also put my own items on the to-do list. As a student, I also see any recent feedback. So as teachers are providing feedback, that shows up right on the dashboard. For students that may want to see more of a calendar view of their assignments or assessments to complete, they also have on the left-hand side, we call this gray bar, the global navigation. They can click on that calendar view as well. So let's go ahead and just dive into a class. And this is going to be a high-level overview of just what could be possible for your students. So when I come into this classroom, now I'll point out that the to-do list on the right-hand side becomes drilled down to just this class. My teacher can send me announcements and really just customize the learning experience. So you'll notice it's very visual, very welcoming, and very simple. There's not a lot of places that I can get lost or click around. Maybe as a student, I know that when I come into my physical science class, I always click on this week's work to begin my lessons. So within this unit that we're going to take a look at, we're going to look at a few different high-level examples of tools in Canvas you may use in your own courses or support your fellow teachers with. So the first being a Canvas page. And a Canvas page is really a place that you can put information for your students. So they may be reading, watching, viewing content. You'll notice on this page, I have a picture, I have little GIFs, I have text, and I even have a video that's embedded. So this is just one of those examples. Kevin mentioned the over 900 different apps or tools that integrate into Canvas. And this is just an example of what that could look like. But knowing that your team has vetted all of the tools used within the district, that might also include things like textbooks or other applications that you want to integrate. One other item that we want to show on the Canvas page or highlight is just one of the accessibility features. So in the last session, we showed this tool and the question came up about Google Read and Write. You can also use the Read and Write tool, but Immersive Reader provides the availability for accommodations on the content that you've created in Canvas. So this is actually a tool created by Microsoft that's available for free within Canvas. So as I open that up, I can have the text read to me. I can also go in and I have some preferences of the text. So I can make the text larger or smaller. I can choose the spacing and font, and I can even choose the color in the background. So for students that have a visual need, they can change that. I can go into my reading preferences so I can focus the line of text. I can enable a picture dictionary so that I can see those visual cues. And then I can also come in and translate the language. So as I scroll through this list, you'll notice there's a variety of languages, lots of languages available. So I might go down to maybe Spanish, for example. And I can choose the version that I'd like. And I can translate by word or the whole document. And many of these languages offer the opportunity to be read in that language as well. So again, that's just an example of one of those tools available within Canvas. This one is called Immersive Reader. So as a student, when I'm navigating in Canvas, it's very simple and easy. I can just click to next to get to the next item that I'm working on. And the next thing that we come to is Canvas Studio. So this was another item that was pointed out in the introductory slides of just an engaging tool that provides collaboration opportunities for students and teachers. So Studio really allows you to have a collection of video content, whether those are videos that you've created as a teacher, you can bring those in, or if there's videos that you're using from places like YouTube or Vimeo, you can upload those links. But within the video, I have opportunities for engagement. So I can go in and I can put what we call annotations on the video. So we'll see what that looks like. So before the video even starts, I want to pause the screen for my students. I could put this at any point in the video for them to take note of something. I can even include links. So for this example, they need a certain Google Doc, and I've linked it here just to make sure they have the right information. I can also put quiz questions throughout the video. So if there's places that I want my students to pause and I want to have that check for understanding of the content, I can build those in. So as a student, when I continue, and I have my sound muted just so it's not taking over the screen here, but you'll notice that as the video is playing, I could ask a question at any point or put a comment in, and it will pause the video and it will put it right in line. So not only will the comment pop up in the video, but it also begins a threaded discussion below. So making it really a two-way engagement experience. And then also you have the option to automatically generate closed captions for your students. So in those videos that you've created, when you upload that, those captions will generate. You can edit those as you need, but then you'll notice that it's going to put the closed captions right on top of the video. So making sure that everything is accessible for your students. And we'll also look at how students can use this Canvas Studio tool. So maybe they're creating videos to show you evidence of their learning. It gives them a safe space to upload, share those with you, turn them in for assignments, and then what does it look like for you to provide feedback to them? That's something that we'll look at today as well. So again, very easy and intuitive to navigate. I can just click to the next item. And the next thing that I come to is a discussion in Canvas. So this is where you have your students collaborating with one another. So within that discussion, the topic at the top can again include pretty much anything that you can think of. Pictures, links, embedded content. Maybe you have a Google slide deck you want them to view and respond to. So you can have a lot of flexibility, video content. And then as students are replying, it's very simple. So as they open up that reply box, I have a variety of tools, and this text box that you see here is the same content text box that you see throughout Canvas, both for teachers and for students. So I can simply type a response, and I have all of my text tools. I can do things like bring in a link. I can upload or record images or videos, even bring in documents, or those other tools or apps that you may be using within the district. So lots of flexibility on how students are engaging with one another. And then lastly, how are students submitting that evidence of their own learning? So with Canvas assignments, I can provide a lot of flexibility for how students are showing what they know. So I have at the very top the name of my assignment, the due date, how much it's worth. I can see the stage of the assignment that I'm in as a student, any details or directions about the assignment. So again, just like with anything else, this can include pictures, videos, links, embedded content. And then if you are utilizing a rubric to grade, as a student, I can see exactly what that rubric will look like. And then at the bottom, you can select how your students can show their learning. So I have different submission types available. You can choose as many or as few of these options for your students as you'd like. So I'll show you what they look like, just a few of these. So the first being a text field. Within text, this is going to auto save. So you'll notice I already had content here. So if students are starting on an assignment, they don't have time to finish it, and they come back, they won't lose their work. I also have media options. So I can record media, whether this is audio or video, or if students already have something on another device, they can simply just upload that. For the upload option, you can drag and drop pretty much any type of file you can think of into Canvas. Or students can do something as simple as just take a webcam photo. So for elementary learners, maybe they're doing something on a whiteboard or on a piece of paper, and they want to just hold it up to take a picture. They can do something as simple as that. And then additional options can be enabled, things like pulling items from your Google Drive, Canvas Studio videos, Google Assignments, and we'll talk a little bit more about that Google integration, but lots of flexibility for how students can show what they know through Canvas assignments. And then the last item that we'll mention from the student side is just that feedback loop. And so we'll focus on the feedback that the teacher can give, but just knowing that that feedback loop is two-way. So as a student, I can put in comments in the feedback. My teacher can message me back, whether that's a text-based comment or a video or even an attachment, but it provides a lot of simplicity in just making sure communication is easy between students and teachers. So with that, we'll pause. And is there anything that we should add, Morgan, before we move to the teacher side of Canvas?
There was one relevant question related to that within our Q&A, and that was, does the immersive reader in Canvas read PDFs?
It will not. Currently, the immersive reader is just going to read the content within the rich content editor. But oftentimes what we see is if the content is on a PDF, sometimes folks will copy and paste that text into an accompanying page. But it can't read on top of it just because it's almost viewing that like an image or something that it can't get to the text within the PDF. Great question. All right, well, we'll go ahead and move on to the teacher side. And again, feel free to add those questions to the Q&A and the things that we can't answer today. I know the team will be answering within the district, and we'll be working on those answers with them. So within the teacher side of Canvas, we'll just come to really kind of open up this same class or course that we were just looking at and what teachers have available. So the first thing being just our homepage that we come to. And one thing that I'll point out on the left-hand side, you'll notice I have a lot more menu options than what my students had. And that's because you can really customize what students are seeing within Canvas. So you can make the environment very simple and tailored to just what you want your students working on. Everything within Canvas is very easy to edit, very easy to get to the content that I want to have organized. And we organize that in what we call modules in Canvas. So think of modules like units of instruction. So as I come to my modules, we'll go down to our unit 1. This was actually the unit that we were working through from the student side. And you'll notice that I have a variety of resources here. So very easy to add items. Everything is drag and drop within my modules. I can publish or unpublish items, meaning if I want my students to see it, it will have this little green check mark. If I'm not ready for them to see it, or maybe it's something that I'm just using for my own resource or organization, I can leave it unpublished. So lots of flexibility in organizing the content. But one thing we wanted to make sure to focus on, and I know this was in our introductory slide as well, is just the ease of collaboration, how easy it is to copy materials and share materials. So anything within Canvas that you're creating, whether that's one individual item, whether that's a unit of instruction or a whole class, it's very simple to copy. I can just copy those resources to another class or course that I teach, or I can share those resources. So if I want to send, maybe I'm teaching this math or this science class with another science teacher, and I want to copy this whole unit, I can select the teacher or list of teachers and send that resource. When my colleague logs in, they'll see a notification like you see here that tells me I have shared content to review. I can take a look and preview that. And as long as I like it, I can choose exactly where I want to drop that into my class. So very simple and easy to collaborate and share materials with one another. One of the other things that we want to point out or look at is just the ease of making content accessible. So within the Canvas assignment tool I have open here, or really anywhere that I'm typing within this rich content editor or the text box, you'll see this accessibility icon. So within the accessibility checker, when I click on that, it will bring up if I have anything that is not accessible to my students. So you'll notice that it's pulling up the first issue, being that I had a color of text that's not accessible visually. So it will tell me what the issue is, as well as give me the opportunity to fix it. So as I drag and drop here, you'll notice I can't click apply until I get to a color that is actually accessible. So once I click apply, there's no more issues detected. So this is something that's available anywhere that any user is typing in Canvas. So whether that's administrators, teachers, students, you can always check that accessibility. The next thing that we'll take a look at is the Studio tool from the teacher side. So I mentioned when we were looking at Canvas Studio that as a teacher, you can generate closed captions on the videos. But one other thing that you can do is see insights. So how is this video being consumed by your students? How is it being watched? Are they skipping certain parts? Are they dropping off at certain points of the video? So I can see overall information about the unique viewers of the video throughout that timeline, the number of plays that I have on a video, and then I can get down to very specific viewing. So maybe I'm working with a student, maybe I'm helping Jonathan with something that he's needing, and I'm noticing that he really didn't watch about half of the video. So as I go in and see the completion rate, maybe there was some very important content that he skipped at the beginning, and there were some review items that would have really helped him at the end. I might tell him to go back and rewatch that video. Or if I'm looking at patterns for my whole class, maybe I notice that after 5 minutes, my students really drop off. So the next time I use this video, I might want to shorten it or put in some different points of engagement to keep them going on the video. So lots of flexibility. Not only can I put in those comments or annotations, but I can again put in quiz questions built in along the way too. So lots of options for keeping your students engaged, but also getting a kind of a pulse of their learning throughout the video. The next thing that we'll look at is feedback. What does it look like from the teacher side? So it's very simple to provide feedback to your students and to view what they have submitted in Canvas. This is utilizing what we call the speed grader tool in Canvas. So on the left-hand side, I see what my students have submitted. So for this first example, I have a document. So students may just upload a type of file. I can come in, I can do things like drop a pin, I can highlight, I can annotate on top of their document. And on the right-hand side, I see important information about grading. So if they have submitted this assignment multiple times, I see that timeline view of the assignment, and I can go back to any moment in time. If you are utilizing any type of plagiarism detection tool, this integrates with tools like Turnitin, so I could see that plagiarism score. And I can also go in and utilize that rubric that we were talking about. So I can come in and click through that rubric, and if it does have points, it will auto score that. But I can also provide specific feedback for just one of the different criteria within the rubric. And it will update that score as I go. But then overall, I can also provide feedback to my students in the text field that you see below. So I could go ahead and just start typing a comment. And you'll notice that when I started, it is auto predicting a comment from my comment library. So this was another item that Morgan mentioned in the beginning that was really important to the team, and just making grading and feedback easier. So as a teacher, I'm clicking here to open my comment library. So I think of this as the place that there's things that you may be typing over and over on an assignment. Or I know for myself, often I had feedback in a Google Doc that I was copying over, trying to make sure I included that information. That can all be managed through this comment library. You can also choose whether you want those suggestions to pop up or not, but I can simply just click on these elements of feedback and just drop them right in the text field. But beyond just typing feedback, I can also go in and do things like text to speech. So if I enable this, you'll notice that it's picking up my words, putting them right into the text box, and it's pretty accurate at auto correcting as I go. So I can drop that in. And then if I wanted to take it a step further, I could also do video feedback. So this is going to just utilize my camera on my computer. I can also choose to enable the screen capture. So if you are wanting to maybe view a student's work and specifically point things out as you go, you can choose to screen capture as well. And if you're somebody that says, you know, I want to talk to my students, but I don't want my picture on video, you can just disable your webcam, and then you're just having an audio file that will be included. So lots of flexible options for that feedback. I can also reassign an assignment. So if maybe students missed the mark of what you wanted them to work on for this assignment, you can put it back on their to-do list for that reassignment. And then a few other options of how students can submit their work, not just a document. So if I wanted to go to my next student, I can simply click to the next student on the list. I can also click down this list and kind of see the status of where students are at. And then, as we mentioned earlier, if you are teaching a secondary class and you have multiple periods of the same class, you can manage those within one course in Canvas so that you're not having to do your work 2, 3, 4 times for all of your different sections of that class. So I could see my different periods or classes here. So as I go to another example of an assignment, I'm now coming to where students may utilize the Canvas Studio tool. So just like I use that as a teacher to record or upload, students can do that as well. So they may be, you know, creating a video for this example of doing a science experiment. But it can also be as simple as elementary students just recording themselves reading and letting you provide feedback on that. So now really the feedback that's in line in the video is kind of flipped. As a teacher, you are putting in those comments or places of feedback specific to what's happening in the video. On the right-hand side, you have all of the same grading tools that you had available with the document. So it provides a lot of flexibility in just how you're engaging with student learning. And then lastly, We also integrate with all of those Google tools. So if students are utilizing a Google Doc, or even if you are utilizing Google Assignments as a teacher, if you've used that in the past where you attach a certain Google document that pushes a copy to all of your students' Google Drives, that works just the same in Canvas. And that's actually because Google built the integration for Canvas. So it looks and feels just like what you're used to in Google, and you can use that integrated in Canvas alongside all of those other different tools that you're using within your classes. So lots of flexibility here. And then just reiterating what Kevin shared in the beginning, that sync of what's happening in Canvas going back to the Power Teacher Pro gradebook. So as you have those assignments and assessments that are graded in Canvas, those grades will sync back to PowerSchool. So you're not having to double enter scores. It's automatically pushing there for you. The last thing that we'll take a look at, and I'm going to stop my sharing and move over to my next window, is what does that elementary experience look like? That was also an important factor in the decision as a district. So I'll go ahead and just give a high-level preview of what that elementary experience looks like. So think about what we just saw in Canvas really being simplified and made more visual for our youngest learners. And actually, our product manager that led this project was a former elementary educator herself. So very important details were considered. Things like when the student logs in, they see their name as the first thing that they see here because that's one of the first things they learn to recognize and read. Also, details like the font that's used has a single story A and G so that it's familiar for students. That all the navigation moves from left to right, top to bottom. So it follows those concepts of print that students are learning. When students log in, on their dashboard, the thing they start with is their homeroom. So what is their classroom teacher giving them as an update? So this could be an announcement that's just a video. It could be what the teacher typically would post maybe on the board in the classroom as students are coming in. So lots of flexibility, whether it includes text, picture cues, videos. But as students come into the homeroom, they also see, instead of their courses, they see their subjects. So those would be the different subjects that they're working on as determined by that grade level. They also see a visual schedule. So being able to see this, oftentimes this is something that teachers may be putting on their board in an elementary classroom. It could include things like center rotations, activities that students are completing independently or even in small groups. But students can simply see this visual schedule that follows all of those different subjects that they're in. The other thing that we wanted to make sure to mention is not only can students be working on Canvas on a computer, as we've seen in this demo, but also in a mobile app. So Canvas is supported on all types of mobile devices, whether that's Apple or Android devices, and we have specific applications for each user type. So you'll see here on this screen, we have a Canvas student app. And that is something that everything that we've seen today can be done in that Canvas app. And it's very highly rated. This is something we encourage you to go check out the ratings and see what students are saying about their experience. The Canvas Teacher app offers really a place for teachers to be able to simply and on the go be able to provide feedback and make quick updates to their classes. And then lastly, the Canvas Parent app is really that place that we have a parent or family experience that oftentimes we see this is where families are engaging with Canvas because it's oftentimes on their phone or on the go. So we wanted to provide you just a high-level look at what that app looks like as well. So when I log into the parent or family app, I first am able to manage all of my students in one place. So you'll notice here I have Brett and Jen. This could be an elementary and middle school student or elementary and high school student. However my students are organized throughout the district, whether they're at different schools or different grade levels, it can all be managed through the same app and same login. Within each student, you can also customize the notifications for every student. So I could decide what I want to be notified about for Brett. So maybe I need everything. I need to know when his grade is above or below certain thresholds, and I can change these numbers. I could come in and toggle on or off all of these notifications. But maybe for my other child, Jen, it doesn't go as well when I have all of that information. I just need the high level toggles to be turned on for missing assignments and updates. So really that information and notification can be customized by individual student. When I'm coming in and wanting to see that snapshot of a student, it's very easy to toggle between the students, and I can see an overall picture of their classes. And then as I go into a class, I can see a kind of what we think of as a view-only version of the class. So I can see the directions for the assignment, I can see when it's due, and I can even set a proactive notification. So if I want to be notified a couple of days before this assignment is due, I can remind my student about it, and I can choose how I want to get that notification. So a push notification like you see at the top of the screen is just one of those options available. And then lastly, we want to make that communication really easy between home and school. So as parents are clicking on the communication bubble, they would see the message that you see here. So it's going to automatically fill in the name of the teacher, or if there's multiple teachers, it will automatically fill in the name of the student and the name of the assignment or page they're looking at in Canvas. So really puts in context the message between families and the teacher so that you know what they need help with. So again, not only is Canvas easy for students, but for all stakeholders, for teachers, for administrators, and for families. So with that, we want to share some additional information about just how we'll support that transition and what that support looks like from our team. So Kevin, I'll pass it back over to you.
Thank you, Jamie. Yes, I'm just taking over for a few last slides. I believe we have the time until 12:10, and we, might wrap up even a little bit beforehand. If there are, Morgan, if you wanted to kind of talk through questions, or, however you wanted to handle, likely our last couple minutes. But, hopefully after seeing Jamie's demonstration, you all are excited and maybe have some questions percolating about Canvas. That's wonderful. What I'd like to highlight now are just a couple key areas that, I can't necessarily like demo these in a platform, but I think these are areas that Instructure does exceptionally well when partnering with school districts. And I think this is really important to everyone in the room. So I'm just going to walk through quickly what it looks like for a help desk support perspective if you're a teacher. We want to talk about some of our asynchronous training options in Canvas. And then I also want to talk about our roadmap with teaching and learning and kind of share some information about how we approach innovation as a company. So first thing, just in terms of support, you all will have access to 24/7, 365 support to call, web chat, or email our support team. That support is not just intended for, Morgan and Darren and your central office team, but as eCoach champions, as teachers, as any staff user, we can enable this support option for any staff user at Anne Arundel to contact our support. So if, the classic example, you forgot your email or your username and password, you can certainly contact our support for technical questions like that, but I'd also encourage you to contact our support for questions around the pedagogy or instructional questions around Canvas. Our support team is trained more than just the buttons and the clicks of Canvas, but they're also trained on the pedagogy and how to use Canvas in the classroom. So lean on our support. I hope this is a great resource to you all. And then I also encourage you all to lean on some of the asynchronous training options that you'll have available in Canvas as a staff member in Canvas. So once you have access to Canvas, what I'm showing on my screen here is basically just the global navigation, and on the left-hand side, under this help button, you'll have access to the training services portal. And there are different pathways that you can actually take in our training services portal. So whether that's, some bite-sized trainings on instructional design, or some trainings on best practices for Canvas from the student or teacher perspective. We have a couple different pathways that you can access, and they're really meant to be bite-sized, just-in-time short trainings that you all can digest on your own time. That's our training portal. Hopefully those are two areas that you all can be excited about with our support that we will provide for Anne Arundel. The next and final topic I want to talk through is innovation. Hopefully this is top of mind as you consider what a long-term partnership with an LMS looks like. Hopefully it's important to have an LMS partner that's innovative and constantly bringing new features to your LMS environment. What I want to focus on today is our block editor. This is a feature that was a very heavy and innovative lift, a big lift for our developers to build. But quite frankly, me, Jamie, everyone at Instructure, we're so excited to deliver this to our K-12 partners because this is going to make designing content in Canvas a whole lot easier for you all. So this will be available in January 2025 for you to use. You can beta it or pilot it in advance of January if you would like. But what I'll show you really quick is just a quick video of the block editor and kind of give you a perspective of how this will basically make it easier to build courses and content in Canvas. And Morgan, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe there's a feature in D2L that sort of mimics and mirrors this. So maybe some of you all are familiar with, what's the name of that feature?
Creator Plus.
Creator Plus. This is like Creator Plus, but in Canvas. So no audio to the video. It's a minute and a half. I'm just going to click play and kind of walk us through it. Okay, so you can create a new page in Canvas either from scratch or you can create a template. If you go from scratch, it'll give you a couple different options to describe the page in words that you're trying to build. Do you want a footer? Do you want a primary image? Are you going to include a discussion or an assessment or modules linked into this page? You can select things like color palettes and font pairings. These are all, factor in accessibility and ADA compliance as these pages are designed. And then this is a true block editor where, as the course admin, you can toggle and change images, change text, and change things from here. And it's all drag and drop as well. So, maybe just looking at the screen, are there some head nods? Like, does this look familiar maybe to what you all have used before? And hopefully this will make designing content and pages in Canvas a whole lot easier for you all. So I don't know, did I talk for 90 seconds? Okay, so yeah, the video is wrapping up. And again, yeah, you can drag and drop. And Jamie, would you want to add any color to this, or did I miss anything from a feature functionality perspective, that video?
I don't think so as far as the functionality, but I think just reiterating what Kevin said, that, we continue to innovate Canvas and there will continue to be new features just within the core product. And so we're very transparent with our roadmap. So you always can look at what we're working on this quarter and what we're working on in the following couple of quarters throughout the year. So always able to see, what's coming and how will Canvas continue to grow with the district to really support teaching, learning, and assessment.
So I know, Morgan, we were talking about gathering all the questions from all the sessions and then responding to those in bulk, but I'm happy to, if there's anything that seems urgent or important, I'm happy to help speak to anything today or however you can help
Sure.
stay online.
I am going to go ahead and stop recording as we close out. I